Scooby-Dooby-Doo. It is very late, but I know what I must do. The final tub of the day. So this is exactly the purpose of what we're doing. Look at this. So if you watched any previous videos, you would know I've already pulled out this character on a Japanese card like a week ago. And again, 1,200 yen, that's senni hyakuen, about $10 right now. So I'm very close to what the estimate of $5 a piece I was paying. Very clean package compared to the other one. So now I know I have a duplicate I packed away like an idiot, and I can sell one of these for about $75 to $100. And that's great because the other one's just chilling, ready to go. So off to a great start that we can move on our piece. When I put plastic bags in here, this is like, I want to keep it really mint. This is like the most low-key ghetto style of protecting your collection you can get. But again, the other side is buying a custom acrylic cases for every toy you have, including like a $50 toy. So where's that balance, right? Looks like I have found the Beetleborg tub. Damn right, about time. Because when I go to bed at night, this is the thing that keeps me up of where in the hell are all my Beetleborgs. Now I know. The sad part about the first series card of Beetleborgs is the bubbles are all turning pea yellow. If that's your thing, though, then you're happy. For me, not so much. Earlier figures were a little more basic and crude, but they got so much better later on with Bandai. This is Whip, Crack, and Yara, the first three villains. I remember looking at Tomart's magazine when these came out, and for some reason, I had an affinity for Noxie, just the way he looked. That unique look to him with that umbrella. And if, strangely enough, later on, I did pick up this hand-painted hard copy that actually is in the photo, is in my collection in the room next door. Sorry for bringing up prototype so much. It's just too much of a passion of mine. So this is a keep tub, pretty much. Oh, we got a VR Trooper in here. What the hell, man? So VR Troopers is also like just one of those many lines that came out, just like Beetleborgs, in competition with Power Rangers. This is a great line because Bandai produced the Masked Rider, Bandai produced the Beetleborgs, Bandai produced the Power Rangers. This was Kenner. And we know and love our Kenner from Star Wars and Mask and just all these great lines of the 80s. This is a much more difficult figure to get, the Decimator. I love how the VR Pursuit Jet is right there, which we will lightly talk about, as well as the Skyborg Jet down below. Got a bit of a bubble ding, but again, not going to boo-hoo. Fascinating line. I love the figures. Solid 90s looking basic design. It's going to be a keeper. I don't think there's any huge money involved here. Look at that classic KB. 2 for $5. Jesus. Not even 5, not even half off from, just, wow, what? But again, this is a very difficult figure to find, even by itself, loose. Gotta be careful with that. Platinum Purple. That was my nickname in high school, if you guys didn't know. Very nice. Love that photography. Bandai did not slouch. Love it. Phase. So then we have more villains here. I have affinity for the villains, as you can guess. Here's Mucus. I love the dinosaur aspect look to him. Vylor, a little more uncommon. This figure, too, is really tough to get loose complete. He has the fins on the sides here that always pop off. Really just absolutely the details, the paint. That's what draws me to these figures. Not just the show itself. I do like that Super Sentai stuff, but the action figures are just so detailed, so colorful. The little play value mechanism gimmick they have. That's why I like these guys so much. I wanted to keep them. So back to the speculation aspect. We don't know. Oh, we don't know. That's like current times. We did not know, and that's the royal we, as in just me, what would have been valuable in the future looking back in the mid-2000s. So one of my poor decisions was, I just thought the character was really cool. Horribel. Uncommon. This is the final series of villains. I thought this was more difficult because Bandai short pack the girl figures more often compared to the boy figures. So this would have been a much more difficult villain figure compared to the other characters. So I sat back and said, you know what, this might be a good investment. So I picked up a number of them thinking this might be like Divatox from Turbo, that it would be a figure that would reach over $100 at some point in the future. I was wrong. So we have one. We have two. 3 and 5. I never told you I could count. I'm gonna keep one, sell one, and that's fine. Here is the US version of Scorpix. Let's get a comparison shot. Go, go, Beetleborgs. Da, 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 da. Look at that. So it's the same figure, but look at the chrome coloration on it. I don't think that's degradation. I think that's just how they were produced in Japan versus the U.S. market. Even the coin in the U.S. market is a brighter color. That being said, the Japanese one is much more common to find than the U.S. carded version. So it's nice to have one of these still packaged. Of the final series, Ladyborg, Dragonborg, as we discussed, these are all difficult to find. I don't know if Ladyborg actually was produced in Japan. I never bumped into that figure. He was not produced in Japan, to my knowledge, and he's also very difficult to get on a U.S. package. Just so creative, and such the design, the detail. I'm simping over this stuff. I'm sorry. Wonderful stuff. So I'm happy to have some clean carded, non-yellow bubble figures. And I have a bendy sample of Caitlin Starr from the Earth. The Earth. But at times you could literally walk in there and pick up an unproduced prototype that came in from a Kenner employee for nothing. So I walked in there and I did find Jeb the dog carded on a different character card for like $7. And a friend of mine walked in there one time and found the unproduced Gargoyles motorcycle dead stock sealed for like $10. So it was always a fun time to go walk in there, but we're talking about a time when no one collected that stuff. Of the VR troopers, there are the figures that I mentioned that were the villains that were very difficult to get. The hero version aspect were these, the virtual armor. They produced 2 of these. This is JB Reese. I picked this one up at one of the Power Ranger conventions in Pasadena. I love that show. There's the entire layout. There's Air Striker. Oh, shocking. There's Jeb. So Jeb was never produced, but he got 2 final production samples on a non-Jeb card. But that just goes to show that last late release, they still canceled it because it's just, when it's over and no one's buying your product. It's all going to discount. These 2 are produced. Air Striker was produced in this series. There's General Ivar. There's our Decimator we showed earlier. Most of these are just extremely difficult to get. This piece probably runs around $100 a quarter right now. I never picked up Ryan. And again, after a while, I stopped pursuing the stuff because I just didn't have all the money to keep buying the world as the market kept getting stronger and stronger. And when you're buying these at $50 each, that's great. When they hit up like $100 a quarter and you have multiple pages of 80s and 90s toys that you're looking to get, they get getting higher and higher in price. There's a point where you're like, I can't keep up with this, man. I'm not loaded. We have Mew Cat. Why can't you, Mew? I don't know. Tell me more about it. One of the oddball mid-series figures, the blasting grenade, the pinching claw. These were all just, again, I was more fascinated about the villains than I was about some of the Beetleborgs themselves, though they were really sweet, super sweet. Don't have the whole set, but that's okay. And then we have Power Ranger got stuck in here. Isis Megazord. So again, these carded figures, you just walk into toy shows, you just don't find these things. They're very uncommon to get. Sure, they're online for various prices. This is a deluxe series where they did the Megazords. Much more in demand than some of the basic figures. And people also want, of the 5-inch Power Ranger figures, they want the basic looking posable one. They don't want the battle armor. They don't want this weird position on the figure. They just want the basic one, which also kind of hurts and drives the market of what Power Ranger toys sell for money. This one should sell pretty well, probably about $35, $45. It is Wild Force. It is the time zone I'm keeping. This whole tub is a keeper. But at some point in the future, I may let go of some of the Power Ranger stuff like that. Then we have all 3 Mega Beetleborgs. This is a big package, man. Look at all those accessories. If you were a kid, you were probably stoked to see all those accessories. Bandai knew how to make toys. They knew what kids. Kmart, $9, fair price. There's Horribelle towards the end of the series. We have Shadow, if I'm correct. It's been a long time. We have blue, and we need green or red. Oh, it's yellow. It's been a while, guys. Shows how much I really know after all these years. You can check out what other tubs I have of Beetleborgs and Power Rangers. But we got rid of a little bit of Horribelles here and an extra Scorpix, which is great. But I hope you guys enjoyed some of the Beetleborgs package from the collection. And if you have interest in any of the ones for sale, they'll be up for sale soon.